Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to Movie Mornings. I'm your host, Don Martino, and today we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. First and foremost, I'm going to be bringing you a Madam Web review. Jose is going to be bringing you a Bob Marley One Love review. We also have a fantastic forecast, finally confirmed, announced, the whole cast. I'm excited to get into that here. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot more going on here today. Before we get started, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share us with your friends, and hit the bell for notifications. That way you don't miss any future content. And also sitting with me here today is Mr. Jose Espinel. Jose, how's it going?
What's up, man? Glad to be back. Yeah, as Dom said, we've got some cool things to talk to you about, and I'm just honestly excited to get into it.
For sure, man, for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun, and let's just start right off the bat with this. I saw Madam Web last night, and look, I got to be honest, my expectations were kind of low, not based on anybody's perception of it, just based on the fact, I mean, Sony had only released one trailer for it. They weren't, going to open up the review embargo till the day of the release, so my expectations for this movie were kind of low, and I walked in there though with an open mind, as I always do, just kind of hoping to see a pretty good movie at least, or something decent, and look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This movie's ass. It's bad. It's so bad that nobody's trying here. It is so bad that I owe Argyle an apology. It is
that bad, huh?
So bad that I don't even know how it got greenlit. Like, if I was the head of a studio, I would have shut this thing down. I would have deemed this movie unreleasable. Got to be frank with you. This is terrible. Sydney Sweeney and Dakota Johnson turn in terrible performances in this movie. That's how bad this is. Two great actresses give the worst performances of their career. And I'm not blaming them, because if I was handed the dialogue they're handed in this movie, I wouldn't give a shit about it either. This is awful, awful stuff. And I gotta say, I am ridiculously disappointed in Sony. Because it's one thing when you make a movie like Argyle, where I walk out and I'm like, that was not good. Like, I'm surprised that was not good. But at least in that review, I can say I could see why on paper everybody wanted to sign on to it. This film feels like it's not even trying. There is nothing good about this movie. Nothing. Absolutely nothing is good about this. Adam Scott's all right. Nothing is good here. This is a piece of bullcrap that the studio put out. So, for I don't even know what reason, it's not going to make money. I'm telling you right now, it's not. Look, I'll be honest. I went with James last night, friend of the show, and he was like, you know what? I didn't mind watching it till about the end of the movie. She said it was a steaming mess, but, he didn't mind watching it. So maybe there's hope. So for those of you who don't know, Madam Web is about Madam Web, and she pretty much has these premonitions, and she doesn't really know why, but it kind of happens after she almost drowns, and her life gets saved, and then we have a story, and she kind of teams up with these three girls. Isabella Marced plays one, and Sydney Sweeney plays the other, and I gotta say, like, I really enjoyed a concept of having this sort of millennial with these sort of Gen Z, I don't want to say children, but young adults, I thought that was, on paper, that might have worked. But even that, they don't even know how to execute. Every decision in this movie that these characters make is dumb. These are the dumbest characters I've ever seen in a film. There's a scene in the trailer, so I'm not giving anything away, but you see the sort of new Spider-Man. I'll talk about him in a minute, too. Ezekiel, or whatever this guy's name is. I don't even care anymore.
It's Ezekiel, yeah.
He's in the diner. He's the villain, and I wanted him to just win and kill these girls off, because they were the worst characters I think I've ever seen on screen in a comic book film, and I'm not joking about that. Furthermore, it would have amped up the villain for me, because this guy Tahar, I'm blanking on the actor's last name, is
For who? For Ezekiel?
Yes, he plays Ezekiel Tahar something.
Yeah,
If you want to look that up,
Tahar Rahim.
Tahar Rahim is awful in this movie. This is the worst performance I've ever seen of a villain in a comic book film. I should say, maybe not ever, but in a comic book movie, it's got to be the worst villain performance I've ever seen. There's a part where I'm just gonna say somebody gets hit by a car, and it's very clearly a dummy, and it took all of my might not to start busting out laughing so hard that other people couldn't hear the movie. But I held it in. I held it in when I saw that dummy fly up against the wall and flop around like an idiot. This is such an awful movie. I'm telling you, it is. I don't know if I can call it the worst comic book movie I've ever seen. I really do have to think about that. But it's really bad. It's
I mean,
very bad.
I'll get back. I'll get back to you when I watch it. But as of right now, for me, I'd probably have to say that Morbius is.
This is maybe slightly better than Morbius.
I mean, it's got the same critics score on Rotten Tomatoes, but yeah, I'd have to see Madam Web for myself first.
And the only reason this is slightly better than Morbius is because Sydney Sweeney looks pretty good in her Spider-Woman suit.
See, and I'm not gonna lie to you, that's one of the only reasons why I want to go and watch this is because of her.
I will tell you this. If you are expecting any superhero action, you're going to be the most disappointed customer in the entire world. There is none in this movie. The trailers are highly mismarketed. I mean, they're mismarketing this thing.
I was gonna say they make it seem like there's action in this thing, but
there's slight action, but it's a repetitive sort of game of Dakota Johnson has a premonition. She has to go save these people. She does it, and then she does that again. Premonition, go save these people. It's a repeated thing throughout the entire movie. And the
woman who directed this one, she only directed one other movie ever in her career.
There's a line at the end of this movie. It's right at the end, and I think I've heard it in about 5 other Transformers movies. I think 5 other Transformers movies ended the exact same way this one did. And it really does feel like every line in the movie was taken from a very bad script and copied and pasted into this script. And it feels like every line is like, oh, that sounded cool in that other movie. Let's bring it into this one. And it doesn't work. Or even their attempts at humor are terrible. Every single attempt at humor is awful. If you thought it was bad in the trailer, it's worse here. And let me tell you something else about the trailer. The action in the trailer is better than the action in the movie because they recut it better in the trailer than what's actually in the final product. That diner scene that looks cool, it don't look like that in the movie.
Yeah, crazy.
It looks bad in the movie.
That's crazy.
I don't understand how something like this gets done. I genuinely don't. I think that, again, this has to be, it's amongst the worst comic book movies out there. Again, Sydney Sweeney looked great in her outfit. Her Spider-Woman outfit. I hated the stupid white blouse with the skirt. I thought it looked horrible, and her hair looks like she's wearing a wig in those scenes. Oh, and she finally...
Honestly, if you want to look at Sydney Sweeney, just watch Anyone But You.
I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. There's better movies. Better time. I'm sure there's better movies where you can see Sydney Sweeney. But every time,
Anyone But You.
every time they would show glimpses, I'll just say glimpses of the spider people in this movie, I was just like, I want to watch that movie, not the one that's currently playing on screen. That's kind of where I was at this entire time. This movie, it's not only that, it's boring. This movie's boring, even though there are parts that are so bad they're laughable. And there are. You'll chuckle quite a bit, I bet. It's so freaking boring. It is so dull and lifeless. And the cinematography, forget it. It's not even existent. Like, maybe the diner scene looked all right. Some of the night shots look okay at times, but it's such an editing nightmare and mess that, again, I just would have deemed this thing unreleasable. Another thing I want to mention, we heard some rumors about them maybe cutting some time periods out of it, to try to, so this didn't have to be set anywhere specific. They maybe had references to a separate time period and they had to cut that out. Those were just rumors, but let me just tell you, having seen the movie, oh yeah, they did. That was definitely done. It's so evident that chunks of this thing were taken out throughout the entirety of it. It is so evident. And as far as we know, all the good scenes were the ones where they referenced that specific time period and they were taken out of the movie. You could so tell there's no reason to see this movie. And now there's the Sony and company are pretty much saying it's connected to nothing. And it's like, well, okay, so why did you reference this and that? Okay, whatever. It's fine. They want nothing to do with it. Dakota Johnson wants nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do with it. I'm going to give this movie a grade that I rarely give out because movies typically aren't this bad, but this movie gets a forget about it. There you go. That is my Madam Web review. Did you see Madam Web? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments below. I bet you some of you did, and hey, more power to you. It's all subjective. Let me know what you think of it. And now I'm going to let Jose review Bob Marley. Go ahead, Jose. Take it away.
All right. So I got to watch this. I watched it actually tonight. About 3 hours ago in Dolby, which was really cool. I'll just off the bat say that if you are gonna watch this, I would highly recommend watching it in Dolby. It gives a whole different experience. Um, I personally enjoyed the movie in terms of telling the story of one of, if not, well, I would say actually the best artist in the whole of reggae music. Completely changed the world.
I'll
He
second
literally
that.
brought peace.
I'll second that.
He literally brought peace to his country through his music, which is one of the most moving things to ever be seen. Um, I also really did like the fact that his own son played a part in this movie. I thought it really added to the truth and authenticity of the movie. Um, the guy who played Bob Marley, Kingsley Ben Adir, he was amazing at playing Bob Marley. I thought he did great. Lashana Lynch playing his wife, Rita Marley, thought she was also a standout in this. She was absolutely incredible. The music, obviously, hearing Bob Marley's music in this was a nice trip down memory lane. Honestly, watching this and listening to his music reminded me of the times when I actually went and visited Jamaica. Just brought back those awesome memories visiting that beautiful country. Um, Also, I thought it was pretty cool seeing Michael Gandolfini in this.
I do like
Thought he
Michael
was pretty cool.
Gandolfini. Yeah.
Even though he does play a small role in this, I thought he was still, good for the little role he did play. Um, Cinematography wasn't the most out there because, again, the kind of movie it is, it doesn't really need like insane cinematography, but I still enjoyed the cinematography that was given in this movie. I
Well,
will say
the
that.
the scenes where he's playing live, I would imagine you have to put a lot of work into
Oh,
that. You know what I mean?
and they
In
were
terms of
beautifully
cinematography.
shot,
Okay.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were definitely beautifully shot. A lot of different kinds of there's like slow motions that were used and stuff like that. I thought that were like
Yeah.
nicely used in the movie.
Good editing.
They
Yeah.
used them and yeah, they used them in the right spots, for sure. Trying to think if there's anything that I particularly didn't like. I mean, I feel like the movie could have been shorter, maybe just a little bit, not obviously too much. There were some parts that I felt like were kind of dragged. Um, but besides that, overall, I thought it was really cool to see the when it went to like black screen and it kind of showed like how movies normally do that
Yeah.
when they're like based off two stories. I really liked how they did that.
Like switch back and
Um,
forth between time periods
yeah,
is like
exactly.
okay.
Yep,
Okay.
that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that other stuff that they used, I don't want to say those because they're spoilers, but like
Yeah.
the other stuff that they used in the movie, I thought was really sentimental and really cool. Being able to see that kind of stuff
Right.
because obviously this was at a time when I was not alive. um, so getting to see that kind of stuff was really cool in this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's overall what I would probably say about it. I know there's probably people out there who didn't enjoy it as much. Um, I overall enjoyed it. I had a great. I mean, compared to other movies that I mean, there are worse movies than this. I will say that, and there
Yeah.
are better movies. I will
Yeah.
also say that. But I mean, I still had a great time with it. I would give this movie a might watch. I'm not gonna give it a must watch because it's
Okay.
not one of those that it's not like the Elvis biopic or the Bohemian
Right.
Rhapsody or Rocket Man. It's not on those levels by any means because this isn't really technically a biopic. Although in a sense it kind of is, but it's also not as much of a biopic as those other ones.
Yeah.
Um, so I'd definitely give it a might go. Like if you're a Bob Marley fan, you love his music, you grew up with him, then I would definitely go and I'd tell you go and watch it. Um, and if you're not too, I mean, if you're not a fan of Bob Marley, then you don't have to watch it. You can still watch it if you want. Um, it's just one of those. It's not one of those that wowed me, but it was still sentimental, especially to Bob Marley fans. I would say for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, guys, that's the Bob Marley One Love review. Let us know if you're going to check that one out this weekend. I am actually curious. I do want to kind of ask everybody, what they are going to go see this weekend, if it's going to be Madam Web or Bob Marley. So you guys should leave that in the comments below because, yeah, definitely curious about that 100%. And
Or any other movies
yeah,
that are
true.
out.
I mean, there's, still stuff to catch up on from, earlier in the year. I'm sure that you can go check out. Lisa Frankenstein, I highly recommend. I think Jose seconds that because he saw
Yes,
it. I recommend
100%.
that one if you haven't seen it. They are saying, though, Bob Marley is destined to beat Madam Web this weekend. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
Which doesn't surprise me in any sense.
Yeah,
In any
yeah.
like just from what I've read and heard, just from what I've read and heard so far about Madam Web, it doesn't surprise me that Bob Marley's gonna beat Madam Web.
Absolutely. I mean, the box office is going to be interesting. So, yeah, definitely let us know what you guys are planning to see this weekend between the two. And I would just like to kind of get a poll on that a little bit better here. Here we go. So I do want to talk to Jose here because we have some pretty exciting news. We've all been waiting on it, but we got the confirmation finally. The Fantastic Forecast has been announced
Woo!
officially.
Let's go.
Let's take a look at what we got. And this is coming from the Washington Post of all places. But Marvel has finally announced its cast for the Fantastic Four reboots. It's Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby. I like how they put this. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, and that guy from Stranger Things are
Guy from
joining the
Stranger
MCU. All right, so let's take a look at this. So we have Marvel Studios announced its lead actors for its reboot of the Fantastic Four on Wednesday, tapping a cast of widely beloved stars as the Disney-owned company tries to recapture the 2005 film's box office magic. Pedro
Mm-hmm.
Pascal, known for his TV roles in pop culture darlings The Mandalorian and The Last of Us, will play Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards, a super genius with the ability to stretch and bend his body. Vanessa Kirby, who starred in The Crown and Pieces of a Woman. Oh, I love Pieces of a Woman. If you guys
Yeah,
haven't seen that, check
yeah,
it out.
it's amazing.
It's something else. We'll play.
Masterpiece.
Well, yeah, it's great. We'll play Richards' wife, the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm. Her brother, the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, will be played by Joseph Quinn, who's also Eddie in Stranger Things, who was widely adored for his role as Eddie Munson in Stranger Things. Eben Moss Bacharach, who won an Emmy for his role as Cousin Richie in
Cousin
FX's The
Richie.
Bear, will take on the role of Ben Grimm, also known as The Thing. So, Jose, I want to ask you, what do you think of this casting here?
Honestly, I don't think it could have been any better. I mean, those are four star-studded actors. I mean, Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, in my opinion. I mean, the only other person, obviously, that I would have loved to see it was John Krasinski himself. Um, but I think that Pedro is just like perfect. I mean, he'll definitely play that role amazingly. Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm again. She fits that role
Yeah.
perfectly. She's also a phenomenal actress. I mean, like we said, Pieces of a Woman is just like amazing. Um, Everyone loves Joseph Quinn as Eddie Munson, so I feel like he's gonna also just be amazing as the Human Torch.
Yeah.
And then when I saw that they announced Yvonne as the Thing,
Yeah.
honestly, it made me chuckle inside because I didn't think that he would ever go for a role like that. But I'm actually intrigued to see how he is going to come around to playing that role. I think it's going to be pretty interesting,
what I
honestly.
what I really enjoyed is how like Matt Shackman he had added the director he'd added that within this casting process he wanted to find an Always Sunny in Philadelphia style chemistry between these four, and with these four I could totally see that working.
Yeah,
I,
no, for sure.
I think this is a great cast, and
Oh,
They
100%.
got maybe, I don't want to say, well, with Pedro, definitely one of the best actors, and with Vanessa Kirby, one of the best actresses. Joseph Quinn and Eben Moss Baccarat are just on the come up, and they're destined to be some of our, greatest actors out there. So those two I'm super excited for. I mean, now it's just kind of coming down to who's going to play Doctor Doom, and we've heard the Cillian Murphy rumors, which I think is a good one. We've heard
Ooh, that's oof.
Henry Cavill was one that was kind of thrown out lately, so we'll see which one of those two gets it. It's probably going to come down to one of those two. I don't think we've already heard them say they're not going to go with Mads just due to the fact he was already an MCU villain. So yeah, I don't think Mads will get it, even though that's again been thrown around. Another one's has been Ben Mendelsohn, but I don't think they'll do that either because of his prior involvement within the MCU. From Secret Invasion to Captain Marvel and all that, but again, I think that this is a phenomenal cast. I couldn't have casted it better myself, honestly. I can't think of. I'm not saying that nobody else could have played these roles, but this is good. It again, like hearing the approach of that Always Sunny in Philadelphia chemistry between the four. I do
Yeah,
think that this is the best cast for that, personally, and
for sure.
I remember I was talking to somebody, I think earlier today. They were, I was telling them, no, Madam Web sucked. And then, I was kind of talking to them about this movie. And they were like, well, hopefully that one doesn't suck. They can't screw this up. Because if another Fantastic movie or four movies fails in the box office, they're done. You know what I mean? I don't think that
Oh,
this franchise
100%,
ever
yeah.
sees the light of day. Not to mention Kevin Feige's, like, unconditional love for the Fantastic Four. I think that this is the one he wants to get right. Even if it means it takes focus away from other projects, I think this one he will make sure is correct before it, gets out there. So
Right, for sure.
I love this though, and I'm just happy we finally know who it is. Nobody has to speculate anymore. It's out there. We
Right.
got it. This is absolutely confirmed. I mean, Pedro, we've been pretty sure about, I think,
Yeah.
that for a while, but the other three were kind of up in the air. We weren't really entirely
Especially,
sure.
it's. I feel like Vanessa Kirby more than Joseph Quinn and Eben
Yeah,
Moss,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
for
was,
sure.
yeah. I mean,
Like
yeah,
yeah, Human Torch and the Thing were the two that like
for
no one had
sure.
any speculation on. But Sue Storm, like Vanessa, was kind of a little more like she was definitely one of the options that we like.
Agreed.
I guess most people were like speculating on. But
Yeah,
Pedro was really like the one that everyone was like for sure that he was
yeah.
gonna be Reed Richards.
Yeah, so they weren't trolling everybody. It's not John
Yeah,
Krasinski
no.
and Emily Blunt. They weren't trolling us this
Right.
whole time. This is actually who it is. It's not Adam Driver and Jodie Comer. This is the
Right.
cast. Even though I do think that they worked in the talks, I definitely think that wasn't just
For
a
sure.
false rumor. I definitely think Adam Driver and Jodie Comer were
Oh,
screen
dude.
testing together for this, and
And Adam Driver would have been another one cool to see play
would have been neat.
Reed Richards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just I don't think that's the approach they're going with, and that's fine.
Yeah, no.
I think again Pedro is pretty good.
Oh yeah.
He's again one of the best actors we have.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah.
it's there's no disappointment here. I think this is great. Eben Moss Baccarat really intrigues me. I'm not saying it's going to be bad or anything. I'm just intrigued
That's
by
what I mean.
his approach on it.
Like
Yeah.
I said before, like I just, I've never thought he would take a role like this, but I'm intrigued to see how he tackles it for sure. I think it'll be interesting, and I think seeing all of these four together, band as the Fantastic Four against Doctor Doom
Yeah.
is going to be really really cool. I think this is going to be the MCU's biggest comeback for sure.
Yeah,
for this new
absolutely.
phase.
Yeah, like I said, I don't care if it takes focus. Well, I do care, but I'm saying even if it does take focus away from other projects, I think this is the one again. Feige's going to make sure is correct before it goes out there, and coming in 2025. So that'll be interesting. It's going up against Superman Legacy in 2025. So we'll see what happens. Not same weekend, but same month, from my understanding. So it'll be an interesting thing to see.
Battle.
Interesting battle. Yes, absolutely battle. Yeah. So something else we got to talk about here, man, is another big franchise that is kind of I don't want to say fail because business wise it's been doing well as far as the business goes, but hasn't been well received by critics. It hasn't had the most critical acclaim, we should say, not the way it used to get it. So let's look at this. Jurassic World loses its director, David Leitch. So they were going to make Jurassic World, I guess, 7 with David Leitch. Who David Leitch I like, by the way. I don't want to take that away because I do like David Leitch.
You say Jurassic World 7? There hasn't even been that many
Well,
Jurassic
Jurassic
World.
Park 7, I guess. Jurassic World 4. Yeah, so
Right, yeah.
that's what I was getting at, but I get you. But David Leitch, I like. I mean, I liked. I still haven't seen Bullet Train, so I gotta watch it. But I do enjoy
Oh, bro. What a good time, honestly.
obviously his work on John Wick as a co-director. I enjoyed, and then Deadpool 2, I think is phenomenal. So I'm a big fan of David Leitch. I am looking forward to Fall Guy. I'll probably check out
Oh,
Bullet
I
Train
can't wait
before
for
that.
that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Fall Guy.
Can't wait for Fall Guy.
But I do want to
Oh
look at
wait,
this
okay.
because this is interesting. Because David Leitch is no longer headed to Jurassic World. Talks between Universal and the filmmaker have fallen through. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed news that Leitch would direct a new Jurassic movie came to light last week. This only took like a week, which is what's crazy about it. When Universal signaled the film was on the fast track by giving it a July 2nd, 2025 release date, the parting of ways is said to be due to a difference in vision and to be amicable. Okay, so
Hmm.
I heard a thing about this. Actually, I heard this straight out of Jeff Snyder's mouth of all people, which he was pretty correct about the Fantastic Forecast. I think he's probably
True.
correct here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just
Inclined to believe basically every single thing that comes out of this dude's mouth.
yeah, no, 100%. He basically said something about the fact that like David Leitch has a producer partner that he brings on every movie with him, but Universal had provided a line producer who I guess they did have a creative difference. So this is actually kind of true when they do say creative difference here from the Hollywood Reporter. But the detail that I had heard is that David Leitch's producer thought she could step up and get rid of whatever line producer they had on this film and fire them
Mm,
herself. And Universal and Spielberg, I heard, stepped in and was like, no, we don't, you don't get rid of our people, type of thing.
right.
You don't step on our toes. We gave you the opportunity. These are the people we want you to work with, and you're gonna have to figure out a way to work with them. So yeah, that to me was like it does sound like it was just a little bit more dramatic than this reporter is making it out to be, which
Right.
granted they always do sugarcoat these things, for PR purposes, but
Right.
yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, were you excited to see a David Leitch headed Jurassic World though? I mean, just him as a filmmaker do one of these?
I mean, yeah, especially after seeing what they did with the last two Jurassic Worlds.
Yeah.
I mean the first one is actually good and it's the best of the three.
Yeah.
Um, the third one is just a big mess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was excited to see David Leitch tackle this, especially because, like you said, his previous movies are just
Yeah.
so Bullet Train, Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2. I had a great time with the Hobbs and Shaw. Um, like he's done so many like incredible movies that
Yeah.
I've enjoyed watching. And so yeah, I was uh excited for like a fresh new take on a fourth Jurassic World, especially after what happened with the last two.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but stuff happens, and it's sad, but
Yeah.
what can you really do, honestly? I
I
mean,
I was sort of in a weird way with it, like when I'd heard the news that he was going to direct, only because it was, to me, it was like a thing of like, it's so funny how quick this happened. Like we didn't even get to talk about it on the show, like the announcement of him directing, and
yeah,
like we didn't even get a chance to talk about that, and then he's gone, so we're basically kind of talking about the prospect of what it would be like if he did direct it too at the same time here, which is basically for me, it's like, yeah, I like David Leitch. I was excited for a fresh take on it. But at the same time, I was kind of trying to think of how his style meshed with dinosaurs, and I couldn't really see that in my head. But again, I was happy it was just somebody good, somebody who could give a
right,
fresh perspective on it, and I was good with that. But then again, I don't blame Universal if they're coming in. Universal gives them the opportunity. If they're going to come in there and step on their toes a little bit, I can see why he was removed. And that's like, again, it's not like, I don't think it's going to be a thing where David Leitch is never going to work in Hollywood again, but I do think it's going to be a thing of like, I don't think he'll get a Jurassic World opportunity for a long time or something like that. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be more
right, yeah.
John Wick level stuff and things of that nature. Not that John Wick's
Which
bad,
I'm here for.
yeah, no, for sure. That's fine, and he's great at that. So let him do it. That's my take. And again, it was his producing partner that stepped on the toes. It was just more or less, I think, for David Leitch, a thing of like, well, if my producer partner's going, I got to stand by her, you know. So I get it. It's, no problem. But they'll find somebody else. I do know that they're trying to fast track this thing. Something else I'd heard is there's Ewan McGregor signed on to a new dinosaur film recently, and I guess Universal's trying to get this thing done quickly so they can compete with it. But see, that part disappoints me though, because then I'm like, well, don't rush it, like get this thing done right, But I think with Spielberg kind of, backing it as a producer, he hopefully he can get this thing right. I think he probably knows that the reception of the last three weren't great, and him backing it again as a producer is probably
Yeah,
pretty good.
I think what hurt this trilogy of Jurassic World movies too was switching directors. Because yeah, Colin Trevorrow did the first one, then they
First
switched for
one
the
and
second,
three.
and
Yeah.
and then Colin Trevorrow came back into the third. I
Yeah.
feel like if they just stuck with Colin Trevorrow for all three, I think he would have actually been able to make all three good.
Maybe.
That's just
It's
my
possible.
opinion.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, he did kind of get thrown into the third one, and
Because I mean, you
yeah.
see what happened with the newest of the trilogy of Star Wars movies. They switched directors,
Yeah.
and you see how that went. So
For sure.
that's why I feel
For
like
sure.
if they would just, because that's my same opinion for those three Star Wars movies. I feel like if they would just stuck to one director, those three movies would have actually been good.
It's a good point because none of the two directors on the Jurassic World trilogy are bad directors. They're both great
Oh
individually.
no, definitely not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So I feel like switching directors like that is what
it is
hurts
possible.
Franchises in my opinion.
I mean, I do see a little studio meddling too in that sense. So I to a degree, I do think that there was definitely some mandates from the studios and things that might have hurt it as well. Not as much as I've seen on other franchises, but definitely a little bit of that meddling.
Also, because the guy who did the guy who did the second Jurassic World, he did Society of the
right.
Snow.
He's a great director.
Movie.
Yeah,
He did Impossible, which was another phenomenal.
Yeah, no,
movie. So,
that's great. Yeah,
yeah.
JR something. I can't remember his last name. But
J.A. Bayona.
J.A. Bayona. Yeah, he's a good director individually. He's done. I think he's done some Game of Thrones episodes too. They were pretty good, and I think he did the Battle of Blackwater episode. Yeah, but yeah, no, great individual directors. You're kind of right on that. They do need to get somebody fresh though. It can't be somebody who's just gonna make a run of the mill Jurassic World movie, but somebody who can update this in the right way, but also not lose the DNA of what made Jurassic Park great in the first place, which is that sort of small scale sort of movie, a little bit more suspenseful than it has been, and a little less of the action side of it, I think, but also fresh. You know what I mean? A little bit fresh.
They could even try and tackle like a prequel to the Jurassic Worlds.
They could, yeah, they definitely could. I mean, who knows what this is actually going to turn out to be? And the other thing about it is, like, you look at the first Jurassic Park, what you love is the characters. It's not like a lot of these monster movies now where it's like, oh, we go to watch the monsters fight. It's like you love the characters, and that's the thing that's interesting to me. So
that's what they have to keep. That's what they have to keep with this Jurassic Worlds, if I'm being completely honest.
100%. But yeah, I do want to just kind of get right into this next story as well, because I think that this is pretty interesting, and might not sound like much at first, but I do want to get somewhere with this. All right, so Godzilla Minus One director on Steven Spielberg, quote, "I met God." Godzilla Minus One has become a massive hit, and recently the director of the film took to social media to reveal one iconic film figure who praised the film. Takashi Yamazaki recently took to Twitter to reveal he met legendary filmmaker Steven Spielberg, whom he affectionately referred to as God. He said Spielberg told him he saw Godzilla Minus One 3 times, and the conversation made him cry.
Wow.
Yamazaki even said he gave Spielberg a Godzilla toy figure in their talk. He says, quote, I've met God. What am I gonna do with all this? I'm seriously crying, said Yamazaki in his post. And Spielberg saw Godzilla Minus One 3 times. He told me he liked the characters in the film, I'm sorry, and I gave him a Godzilla figure, and he was so happy when he took it. And then there's the picture of the two of them. Outside of this just being an incredibly awesome story, just in general, I mean, I do love the fact that Spielberg saw Godzilla 3 times.
3 times.
And he must love the movie, and I'm glad.
100%.
And I can see that because it's right up of the alley of what Spielberg used to do and what he
Mhm.
did so well, and just an updated version of that. This is the guy. This is who you get to do Jurassic World. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, the guy who did Godzilla.
This is
Yamazaki?
who does Jurassic. I tell you,
That's- you
the
know what?
stars are aligning.
That is the most perfect shout I've ever heard.
The
If anyone can
stars
do-
are aligning. Look at these two.
If anyone can do a fresh take of
Yeah.
Jurassic World, it's this guy.
Yeah. Not to mention he's going to
100%.
do it for cheap. It's not going to cost them as much
Yep.
money. You're only going to save money. I don't care how long this movie takes. Hire this guy to direct this movie.
Honestly,
Steven, you saw Godzilla -1 3 times. You know this is your pick. I'm telling you, this meeting was. There's more to
and
it.
and you've seen how bad the last 2 Jurassic Worlds did. Honestly, you need to hire this guy as soon as you need to with your power. You need to get them to hire this guy.
I'm telling you, there's more to them to meeting than just a meeting. I think that they were
100%.
I think Spielberg needs to hire him. I think he knows that. This is your guy. Spielberg, get him on, hook him
100%.
up, get him in there.
Universal, if you're listening.
I definitely wanted to connect these two stories because I was like, I saw
No,
this and I'm like, whoa.
It makes perfect sense, honestly.
Yeah,
It really does.
That's who does your Jurassic right there. I mean, look at -1. If you guys have seen -1, you tell me that is not the next pick to do a Jurassic Park, to bring that franchise back to its roots and to make it good, to make it about the characters, as I was saying, which is why we love that original so much. Get him to do this. I'm not kidding. I don't care if it's all subtitled. It probably won't be, but let's get him to do it.
Imagine a Jurassic World in Japanese.
I'll watch it. If this guy does it, I'm going to watch it because I'm going to believe it's going to be the best Jurassic Park we've seen since the first.
True.
Hands down.
True.
Yeah, this is your guy.
Sure.
Steven, I know you watch the show weekly. No, I'm kidding. But please hire this guy.
Universal, we know you watch as well. Hire him right now.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, for the headline, I know it didn't sound like much news, but I'm thinking, I'm lining things up here, and I'm like,
no, it's a good connection. To be fair,
I think it's huge. I really do. I think that this is a bigger deal than we might realize.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I do think these two are going to work together here very soon, and he needs a director on Jurassic World right now. So get him to do it. Get the new take.
Yes.
Let's make it happen. And
for sure.
By the way, drop Jurassic World, make it Jurassic something else, new thing. You know what I mean? Like that's the other thing I was gonna say. Like
Jurassic Universe.
I don't want them to think of this. I don't want them to think of this as the Jurassic World franchise anymore.
Jurassic -1.
Jurassic -1. Oh.
You pin Godzilla against all the dinosaurs.
Oh
boom.
God. Let's not say we did, but yeah, man. Anyway, I thought that was pretty fantastic. So I'm very excited.
Honestly,
about
they after you show me that, they definitely need to get this guy on a Jurassic project, man. Because I've seen Jurassic. I've seen Godzilla -1 twice. I saw once in color, once in black and white, and man, what a beautiful masterpiece, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. It's really, really great. So I did want to ask you here, really quick, before we get to our next story, if you had seen the X-Men 97 trailer.
No.
Okay, we might have to watch that. For me,
Okay.
as a kid, I watched. If you were a 90s baby, you probably grew up watching the 96 X-Men animated series, and so X-Men 97
Yes.
dropped the trailer today. And I'm very interested to. I didn't do a reaction today. I probably should have, but I did see it already. So I'm gonna let Jose give this a watch here. And oops, sorry, you probably heard some audio. I'm gonna let Jose give this a watch, and we'll talk about it here in just a second. So let's switch over to the screen here, and let's watch the trailer for X-Men 97. Here we go.
We get this done by working together as a team.
Sorry, let me back it up. Spoilers much.
I know, right?
Next Saturday morning. Check your local listings.
I'm grateful to have the chance to say goodbye. I am proud of you all, my X-Men.
Fate lies in our hands now. Now.
The original theme.
We have to stay vigilant. The professor entrusted us with his dream.
No matter how dark it is, we must believe in each other.
We get this done by working together as a team.
Jeez, bub, keep buzzing in my ear.
Heads up!
To me, my X-Men.
Yo.
Magneto.
The last will and testament of Charles Xavier. Everything he built now belongs to me.
So that trailer definitely was awesome to me. That's why I have X-Men in the background right now. I'm super excited for this. Anytime, obviously this isn't in the MCU, but anytime that Disney can and Marvel Studios can come together and do something that's like an Elseworlds project, I am super excited. I don't know if Jose froze or if he's just blown away that much by the trailer. I can't really tell right now. No, he's just blown away, I think, that much by the trailer. I think he loved it that much.
Hey, yo.
It looks great.
There's
no denying it. I am very, very excited for this. I think that this was, again, just amazing. It mimics the style of the 96 animated so well, first of all. Like, let's say that. I don't remember a lot of the 96, honestly, story-wise, but what I can tell you is when I saw the beginning there where they were showing the finale of the 96, I was like, oh, I could tell just by context clues that this was the finale of the 96 and we're picking up right where it left off, even though I don't remember any of that story. I did start rewatching some today, and it's like it did kind of transport me back to my childhood though again, because I did grow up on this. I when I was very, very young, I remember turning on the show 96, X-Men 96. So 97 looks even better. Not even better, but it looks better. I mean, like, obviously they've updated a little bit with the animation while still, again, keeping that DNA of what the original series was. And then the ending there with Magneto, that twist there that, you know, Charles had left him, you know, everything in his will. It's kind of wild. So very interested to see what this one brings. Not outside of that, there wasn't like a ton of plot to it though yet, you know, so I'm very interested to see maybe an even longer trailer just to get a little bit more of the plot. But this was enough of a tease to show the fans like, hey, we got you, you know, we got you. We're mimicking the original style. Everything is going to be exactly how you remember it, just slightly more shiny, you know what I mean? That'd be the best way to put it, just a little more shiny, a little more, you know, refined in a good way. But yeah, Jose, I'll let you take it away here for a second on this, because you looked very excited about this.
Well, I mean, first of all, you stole the words out of my mouth. This literally like gives me X-Men 96 vibes.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love. It makes me want to rewatch X-Men 96 because it has been a while since I've seen it. Because like you, I did also grow up with this show. I love how, to me, this is like one of the other saving graces for the MCU in terms of their shows.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, they haven't been, besides Loki, they haven't been the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I see this as like a way of MCU also redeeming their series, their shows. So is this gonna be part of the spotlight, or is this just like its own thing?
I mean, I think it's like basically like what DCU does now with Elseworlds, where it's like, you know, like Matt Reeves' Batman's part of the Elseworld. So that's why I said it's not like really MCU canon. I mean, it's just Elseworld, right? Like, this isn't going to be their primary X-Men per se, but it's going to be in its own. They're just considering 96 and 97 to be Elseworlds. So yeah, me too. I'm glad they could dip their toe into that 100%. Like, I've been saying they need to do that for a while. But anyway, do you have any more to add on that? But
no, yeah. You know, seeing Magneto there at the end was insane. I can't wait to see how that unfolds.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, besides that, it's just the teaser, like you said, doesn't give too much, but just gives enough to let us know that, like, like you said, we've got you guys, we've got your backs. We're gonna give you guys what you want.
Yeah.
With this show, for all, especially for all the people who grew up with X-Men '96, and
Yeah.
for the people that didn't watch X-Men '96 or weren't old enough to grow
Yeah.
up with it, can go back and watch X-Men '96 before this one comes out, and just have a great time with the X-Men
Yeah.
in an Elseworld project.
I love that the sort of like cheesy campy humor's kind of back in
Yeah.
it too. Like I thought that was a nice little touch. Just
Wolverine
to show
in the
us,
ship, yeah.
yeah, it was great. Like they showed us all the things, the original theme is back, it is that show, just a little bit more shiny. Like I said, just a little more touched up and refined just a tad bit. And yeah, I'm excited that the fans of this, like especially the real diehards, again, I just don't remember much of the storylines. I do remember what it was like watching it, but I don't remember a lot of the
Right.
storylines, that's why I really want to go back now. And this did inspire me to do so. I was watching a little bit today, honestly. And yeah, no, this is fantastic. I'm glad that, like I said, the diehards of this 96 one get to have this continuation finally.
Exactly.
And it's not yeah, like I said, it's not going to have to be beholden to what the MCU is doing, because it's kind of like, again, like an Elseworlds thing. And,
Right.
eventually the MCU will get their X-Men and their primary one. But with some of the things they're doing in What If, I mean, eventually it could tie to the MCU, in a way,
100%, yeah.
especially with another film that's coming up, somebody can go into an animated universe, through the multiverse. It's possible. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I'm just saying it's possible. But let's stick with Marvel here, because I do want to talk about this, which I found to be interesting. So here we go. So Marvel moves on release date schedule. Thunderbolts shifts up. Fantastic Four moves back in 2025. So let's take a look at this. This is coming from Deadline. Marvel Studios said Wednesday that it has moved the release date for Thunderbolts to start of the summer on May 2nd, 2025. That's a lot sooner than I thought it was coming. While pushing Fantastic Four to July 25th of 2025, so it can go against Superman. The news comes the same day it confirmed the cast for its long-awaited reboot of Fantastic Four, which will star Pedro Pascal, as we already mentioned all this, so we'll skip that part of the article. WandaVision helmer Matt Shakman is directing Fantastic Four off a script by Josh Friedman, Jeff Kaplan, and Ian Springer. Thunderbolts is directed by Jake Schreier and stars Florence Pugh, Harrison Ford, Geraldine Viswanathan, Olga Kurylenko, Wyatt Russell, and Hannah John Kamen. The movie reportedly revolves around a group of villains who are sent on missions commissioned by the government, essentially Marvel's Suicide Squad. It had originally been scheduled to hit in theaters in July 2025. So I don't know what kind of excitement you had for Thunderbolts. I mean, I've been excited for this just because it is Marvel's Suicide Squad again, personally, and also I like the idea of Julia Louis-Dreyfus's Val getting this team together. I want to see more of her and getting this team together. I personally love John Walker as like a real I love to hate John Walker, you know what I mean? So I'm glad Wyatt Russell is reprising that role in a cool way, and this one being led by Florence Pugh is extremely exciting. Obviously, I do want to see Elena again fighting on this team. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on Thunderbolts moving up and coming out sooner than we were hoping?
I guess they possibly finished shooting everything a lot sooner than they were hoping, and getting it all like edited down, and they probably finished shooting a lot earlier than expected, and so now being able to edit it sooner than expected, they're able to release it also sooner than expected.
Yeah.
Which is fine if it's going to be as good as when you originally thought you're going to release it, then cool.
Yeah.
It might give me a little bit of speculation on like it might not be as good as it maybe could
like
have
they
been
might
if
have
would've
rushed
taken
it.
a little
Maybe
longer.
they're rushing
yeah,
it.
exactly. But nonetheless, I'm still excited. Like you said, I can't wait to see Florence Pugh again. Val again. Like Val is just like the MCU's Amanda Waller, which I absolutely love. Like you said, I love to hate Captain America.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everyone loves to hate him.
Yeah.
And also seeing Harrison Ford in this is going to be really interesting. And I can't wait for that as well.
Which I think
as
if I'm not
Thaddeus.
mistaken, we'll see him in Captain America first, and then this will
Right.
come after, and so we'll be able to see him. Yeah.
Which will like play into each other in a sense.
Yeah,
Go-
which
yeah.
I enjoy the connectivity there, and also the other thing, the inkling I got more or less is that maybe this movie's just a smaller scale film, which I think they do need to get back to a little bit with some of these, and I'm
Which would
hoping
also
that's why.
which would also make sense because the Thunderbolts movie seems like it's gonna be a less, it's gonna be not as high scaled as all the these other movies like Captain America and all these other ones.
Because it is Marvel's Suicide Squad, do it like Suicide
Right.
Squad was. I mean,
Exactly.
not copy and paste, but the fact that he was, James Gunn was able to do that on a smaller scale, and it didn't. I mean,
Right.
it costs money, but not as much as a lot of these other ones do. And you can do
Right.
something like that with Thunderbolts, I think, and make it, just make it good and make it grounded and gritty and yeah, just make it good, and I think I do find it interesting. Like you said, the only reason I'm a little afraid that they're rushing it now is because Stephen Yeun just recently dropped out of the project as an actor, which was disappointing because I love Stephen Yeun and I was looking forward to seeing him in it. But that being said, maybe that gave him a way to be like, you know what? Let's just make a more smaller scale version of this. Pull back the
Right.
budget. Just make it smaller and let's just go with the smaller version of whatever we had. We'll make it more simplistic. I'm hoping, just trying to be optimistic here, that was the case. And they're like, you know what? We could get it done and get it out by 2025. So. Yeah, I mean, I could see the hesitation or this being skeptical of it because of, like I said, we have seen these things just get rushed to the high heaven. But again, like to me, it's like I don't think that that's always necessarily going to be the case. So this could just be a good thing, and this has a really good cast as it is. And I do think Marvel is trying to pace themselves out better these days and make these things work a lot better. So more power to them if it does work. So very happy about that. All right, guys, last thing I do want to get to, and we are staying with Marvel here. Jose and I have just not had a chance to talk about this on the show, so I thought it'd be really fun if we can get to this and talk about this, because to me this is probably the biggest news we had since we did our last show, and that is that the Deadpool trailer has released. Deadpool 3, now titled Deadpool and Wolverine, and I did want to take a look at the trailer and then just kind of look at it a little bit more closely, maybe a little bit more shot by shot.
I like how Ryan Reynolds put this on his own channel as well.
I know. Yeah, I think I'm watching it from his channel.
Like also
yeah.
him. Yeah, you are. Yeah, I like how it's not just Disney, like the Disney YouTube channel or the Marvel channel that posted it, but he also posted it on his personal channel. I thought that was pretty funny.
I agree. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the trailer. We'll watch it once and we'll kind of take it a little bit more shot by shot here.
We definitely need to.
Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. Here we go. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, okay. It's been a challenging few years, for sure, but I'm happy. That is because of each and every one of you. I'm the luckiest man alive.
Make a wish, buddy.
Wade Wilson? Who's asking? Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that supposed to be scary? Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Oh, man.
Mr. Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself while unconscious.
I wasn't unconscious. Who are you? Why am I here?
Walk with me. Wade, you are special. This is your chance to be a hero among heroes.
I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever. I'm the Messiah. I am Marvel Jesus. God, please! Oh my fuck!
Don't just stand there, you ape. Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
That's great. So, big takeaway from that, just right off the bat here, I do want to talk about, like, I think the trailer, it's a perfect trailer because it is showing the audience, like, this is the first time Deadpool is in Disney, but we're also going to make some self-aware jokes. We're not afraid to do that. We understand that we might have effed up a little bit, you know, and we want to use Deadpool to kind of show that we are self-aware of that. So, good move on Disney there for allowing that. B, it's R-rated. They're showing us that they're not holding back. It's going to be R-rated. The blood and the gore, the language, it's all still there. Everything we wanted. So it's still Deadpool, you know what I mean? And so I thought that was really important. And then, you know, obviously it is showing us like just enough Wolverine to show, yes, guys, Wolverine's in this movie. And that's about all we need. It gave us like a real kind of, it's showing how they're going to incorporate. I mean, this is pretty much going to be the closing of the Fox universe and the transition of Deadpool into the MCU. And using the TVA in order to do that, I thought was very smart. It's, you know, something we already know. Taking something from that Loki show was pretty intelligent, if you ask me. It was a good move. So let's take a look at this a little bit more closer here. So starting out on Wade's birthday, I thought was pretty fascinating here.
Which, I was going to say, I mean, this off the bat tells us that this happens before his wife dies.
Well, I don't know. I don't think so.
Unless it's still just him seeing death.
Well, remember at the end of Deadpool 2, he actually went back and saved her. So
that is true.
I don't think so. I do think that this is recent, especially considering he was wearing the wig now at this party. So I do want to look at that, but I thought the tone in the beginning, it was a little bit more emotional than I was expecting this trailer to kind of start with, which I kind of enjoyed. I mean, Deadpool in his essence, he's a funny character, but he's only funny because he uses humor to cover up all the sadness that this guy's had in his life. So I do enjoy that they don't get rid of that here in this trailer. Like, this is a very sad man at the end of the day.
I love how his taxi driver is there too. It's so funny.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh yeah, I can't remember that guy's name.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Oh man, it's gonna bug me. Oh man, but yeah, he is there.
Oh, Dopinder. That's
no, Dopinger.
Are you talking about the actor?
Dopender. Thank you, Dopender.
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, I was blanking on his name. Dopender. Thank you. That was gonna bug the hell out of me. Then we have Colossus there as well, which is great. So I was very happy to see him. We also
and you had Negasonic
Teenage Warhead
Yukio.
is back. Oh, yep, there they were. Yukio. So it is taken straight from the second film. They're keeping everything there.
And the blind lady, always makes me laugh.
Yeah, she's awesome. She is awesome. I'm glad she's able to be in this one as well. So, yeah, bringing everybody back is pretty great. And then we have him and his. I don't know if they're together. The vibe I was getting is that he saved her, but for some reason they're no longer together, which is
because she did call him Buddy as well.
Yeah, happy birthday, Buddy.
Threw me off. Yeah.
So maybe that was a
kind of threw me off.
hint that they're no longer together. But then we have him getting a knock. This guy too. I don't think he's been in Deadpool, but he's been in other movies, right? Like I can't remember where
I think he wasn't. He was. I think he was in Deadpool too. He was that one guy that was parachuting that he recruited, and he.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm interested.
That's him.
Why we don't see Zazie Beetz' character? It's been so long. Help me out here.
Oh man. Let me look up. Was it Deadpool 2?
I keep wanting to say Stargirl, but it's not Star. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Oh, Domino.
Domino, thank you. Yeah, I'm so shocked we don't see Domino here, but okay.
Yeah,
maybe she's in the movie in a different capacity, but we'll get to that here in a bit. So then he's visited here by the TVA.
TVA.
Which is awesome.
And I'm going to say this right now. The way that this dude breaks the fourth wall, no one does it like him. He's literally the best at breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this dude invented breaking the fourth wall for cinema. Like, Ryan Reynolds is just different with him, man. He's great.
For sure. I love that they,
he goes, he's like, is that supposed to, I like how he's like, is that supposed to intimidate me?
Oh, right. Yeah, pegging isn't new for me, but it is for Disney. That was letting you know right off the bat. Yeah, just because it's Disney, we're not gonna hold back. I love that.
And I'm glad, and I love how they, decided. I feel like if this wasn't rated R, Ryan Reynolds probably wouldn't have realistically worked on this movie.
Yeah.
Because that's like his whole thing, especially with Deadpool, is like he is just rated R.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and how dope is that Marvel Studios logo? I hope they do that for all their R-rated stuff. All the R-rated stuff should get that logo from now on. It's so sick. I get the red because Deadpool, but yeah. And then this one surprised me.
Solely yourself.
Matthew McFadden is in this. I love Matthew McFadden. He just from Succession. He just won an Emmy for that. He's phenomenal in Succession. I was so thrilled to see it. It actually amped up my excitement so much more that he's going to be in this. I love him. He's just the best. Ryan Reynolds here again, a different shot without the wig, and then we start to see he's got these like little hairs sprouting up at one point here. Let me try to find that.
I think yeah, right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right there. You can see the little hairs just kind of sprouting up out of him, which cracked me up to no end. I thought that was hilarious.
He's got baby hair.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely, and he just probably didn't care to shave it because I mean he had the wig, you know. So yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. They took the wig from him.
Then you see TVA again there.
Yeah, more TVA, which this is. I mean, it looks fairly consistent with the Loki show, the way this looks.
Yep, for sure.
But it's so it's pretty cool. I love that we got to see the suit in this shot here. I thought that was a really awesome shot of the suit. I also got to wonder though, why did they have it? Why doesn't he have it anymore? Why does the TVA have it? That's a question that I think is lingering.
Maybe while he was out not in his suit, they went into his house and took it from him.
Or did they go to a different universe and get a different suit? But this also indicates to me that he's this also indicates
maybe
to me
Loki
that
killed other Deadpools.
He's been retired. That's the way I'm taking this. Is that Deadpool's been retired? He's not doing the superhero.
Because the way he was looking at that suit, it made it seem like he hasn't been Deadpooling for right there. That shot right there. The way he looks at the suit, it gives off like he hasn't been Deadpooling for a while.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do this again. That's kind of what it looks like. He's hesitant.
He wants to be as human as possible. Is what it seems like.
By the way, kudos to Sean Levy. This shot is incredible. That is such a good shot. I think Sean Levy's direction on this entirely looks amazing. Like all the cinematography here just really blew my mind. I thought it was very, very good.
And then when he gets to see all the other Avengers.
In this shot, you could really see the hair sprouting up. But yes, obviously the big thing here is the screens. We get to see Captain America there. There's a point where you see
the Hulk. I think was on there.
Yeah, there's a point where you can see Hulk here. But it's mostly Captain America, which I find interesting. That's interesting they focused on that. But he is going to learn about everything that we know as the audience about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think he's going to be mandated, for whatever reason, they'll find some kind of meta way to explain it, to kill off certain parts of this universe. And I think that this is
he's literally just he's a puppet on strings for Loki at this point. Like that's literally what he is.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is when he says, "I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei."
Yeah,
which is funny.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And then he calls himself the Marvel Jesus
again,
which I thought was really funny.
I can't stress how great these shots are, though. Too. I mean, they're just
100%.
Cinematography's incredible. But yes, the Marvel Jesus line is great.
I am the Marvel Jesus,
indicating to us that's the plot of this movie. Essentially, is he is going to go kill off parts of this universe. And probably screw up along the way and get rid of things, but there's going to be things he gets rid of, I think, in a humorous way that the fans probably didn't really care about in the first place for the most part. So, to be honest with you. Again, everything. This scene was funny. I just love the way he was getting up.
Yeah, the even like before all those fast shots of like him getting like in his suit and the guns being put in his holster and when he like spanks himself in the butt, like that was all super funny.
And it gets you pumped in a way too. Yeah.
And then he does the splits to get up.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
Super hilarious.
It's such a Deadpool thing.
The way he reloads his gun is one of the sickest shots. I love how they do that in slow motion as well. It was like the dopest way to reload his guns.
Yeah. It is, it's like Deadpool's back. I was getting so stoked watching this trailer for the first time. And then here, he's got, it looks like members of the TVA are locked up here. So I don't know.
And then he's probably trying to save the TVA member.
Yeah. So it looks like we're going to see some pretty epic battles in this too. I don't know who this guy is. I heard the Doctor Doom thing. I don't buy it. I don't think that Doom gets introduced here. I do think that this might be somebody. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't buy the Doctor Doom thing. But it could be somebody. So I'm interested. But yeah, no, it could just be a random bad guy. Because that's, at the end of the day, what we want to see is Deadpool kill random bad guys. Yeah, again, I mean, we don't know who any of these people here, but if you look here, this indicates to you that definitely wasn't Doom in the other shot, because here's another guy with a very similar mask. So I think that's the indication right there that was not Dr. Doom. I love when he's holding his hand up and telling him to wait. That was just such a Deadpool thing to do. It was kind of a callback to the first one when he's behind this log, and asking him to wait. The
oh
forest.
My God, that's like that's literally his iconic line. Like he does that in every single one of his his movies.
And the forest in the background, people are saying maybe the beginning of Age of Ultron. Maybe he's going there, maybe he's going back to do something with that. So that's very interesting if that's the case. So I don't know. Does he save Wanda? I don't know. It's possible. I don't want to like again get ahead, but you know, maybe that's how you save Wanda from death, and you know, you get more movies with her in the future. So maybe he goes back and saves her somehow. Or
well, that's if we assume that she actually died when she brought the billing down on herself, which I don't buy.
Right. I didn't, but now seeing the Age of Ultron thing, I'm like, maybe he saves her in this movie. Just interesting.
Maybe.
But yeah, there's more shots of that, and then of course
maybe as I was saying, maybe he saves a different universe Wanda, not our Wanda.
It's possible.
Maybe this universe, and where Wanda dies to Ultron, and he has to come and save that version.
Yeah. No, it's definitely possible.
What? Wait.
There was a specific shot here I wanted to try to find.
Which one was it?
Oh, the one with Wolverine in the white suit.
Oh, that was Backmore.
Yeah, I'm looking. I can't find. Oh, there we go.
Right there. Yeah, right there.
It's close, right?
It's like right there. You just play some, and it should.
There we go.
Right there.
Okay, so here's Wolverine in the white suit, which people are saying is Patch from the comics, which was an alias of Wolverine's that he used to use, I guess, when he went out gambling or whatever. I don't think this is Hugh Jackman. I do think this one's going to be Daniel Radcliffe. Personally, I've heard that theory.
I do remember seeing. As I said, I do remember reading those rumors.
Yeah,
stuff.
I think this one's going to be Daniel Radcliffe. I don't think like it means Daniel Radcliffe is going to be our Wolverine permanently. I do think what it means is that we're going to get like a similar thing to what we got with John Krasinski in the Doctor Strange movie.
Doctor Strange Multiverse.
Because people wanted to see it, and I do think that Kevin Feige is going to let us see it for a version of Wolverine. That is, Daniel Radcliffe. So anyway, yeah, that was the shot I missed. So let's go back to the final shot, which I just loved. I thought this was brilliant, the way that they showed Wolverine for the first time.
He's like, hurry up and help me, you ape.
And this one, I think, is
I'm good.
definitely the Hugh Jackman iteration of the character.
Oh, 100. Because he's in his iconic yellow and blue suit.
For sure, and I'm so excited to see this. And but again, it is a teaser at the end of the day, and then we got our finally the title reveal, which I really do love that it's Deadpool and Wolverine. One of the things that I love about it is like it is like a little bit less confusing for the audiences that this might be their first Deadpool movie they watch because it's the first one that takes place in the MCU, right? So
right,
they're not seeing a title that says Deadpool 3. And they're not going, oh, I didn't see 1 and 2, so can I watch this one? I think that you can watch this one, even though you didn't see 1 and 2. I mean, I highly recommend watching 1 and 2, but I do think that this will be a movie you can still watch, even if you haven't seen those, because 1 and 2 are not theoretically Elseworlds, as opposed to this one is going to directly impact the MCU. Right. So I think that is brilliant. I think it's smart business. I'm very excited for this movie, and I don't see this movie going any other way but being great. I genuinely. And it is going to impact the MCU in a big way. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, anything else to add? I mean, what possible things do you think we can see him get rid of, in Marvel's timeline?
Different different variants of MCU villains that we've had. Essentially stopping them before they gain their power. So like how some people are like, oh, why if we could time travel, we could go back and kill Hitler before he became who he was. I feel like that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Possibly even killing off some of the MCU heroes. Maybe some of their variants did not become superheroes and they became kind of like villains in a sense.
Yeah.
And whoever these other villains are that we're seeing that he's fighting against with the TVA agents, whoever they are, obviously we're going to be seeing a lot of that. It would be interesting to see more stuff of like how exactly like what he's going to be doing in the TVA and stuff like that. I
Right.
feel like that's going to be interesting to see, especially since it looks like, I mean, I know for a fact that Loki has set up a lot of what's going to happen in the future for this phase of the MCU.
Yeah.
Which is why I've recommended basically every single person who hasn't seen Loki yet to watch it, because it's basically the precedent for like all these future MCU projects that are going to be coming out, in my opinion at least. Everyone's just going to be puppets in Loki's big play essentially. So yeah, honestly, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what Deadpool and Wolverine are killing off, if Deadpool and Wolverine are even going to team up, if they're going to fight against each other. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out and who they're actually like sending Deadpool to kill.
Yes.
From what I kind of gathered from them showing Deadpool all those MCU characters on the screen, maybe he's going to kill those ones specifically.
Yeah.
Maybe there's variants of theirs that, became bad, went down a wrong path, and they want Deadpool to kill them off. But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what direction they go in.
I am thinking personally a little bit bolder than you are on this.
Okay.
I have kind of
it's always good to have that.
I have kind of a top 3 that I think might happen. And I'm saying might happen, not like I necessarily am 100% set that, oh, this has to happen. 3 things I think he's going to get rid of. I'm going to tell you what they are. Number 1, I think he's going to kill Charlize Theron from the end of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
Number 2, I think he's going to kill Moon Knight.
Oh, our Moon Knight?
Our Moon Knight, yeah. And then number 3 thing that I think he's going to kill off, and you're going to be happy about this one, is Harry Styles. So,
yes.
I think
Please
this is,
get rid of him.
I think this is Marvel's way of killing off the things they don't want to follow up, and getting rid of it.
But I feel like they should follow up with Moon Knight though, because the way that the first season ended,
I get it, and I wanted to see more too, if I'm being honest, but I don't think that they care to follow it up at this point.
I could definitely see the Charlize Theron one, because I don't feel like they should follow that up, honestly. I can also see the Harry Styles things, because if I'm being honest, that character, I mean, no offense to Harry Styles, he was amazing in Don't Worry Darling, but I just feel like that character,
I don't think they want to do anything with it. Yeah.
That character in particular, I just didn't see what they could have done with him. I mean, yeah, he claims to be Thanos' son, but like, I really don't care.
I mean, I genuinely think Deadpool's going to do some crowd control here. You know what I mean, and get rid of some of the crowd.
And honestly, it's honestly smart to do this is the best. This is the smartest way to do that, to get rid of the characters that not only did they not want to continue with, but also characters that we just didn't really care for.
Right.
This is honestly, in my opinion, the smartest. That now that you've said that, it's actually very smart, and I feel like that actually would make a lot of sense.
I mean, he can fix the JPEG mandate. I mean,
now I'm really hoping that happens, because that would be really cool to see and unfold in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, JPEG wanted Disney to put out, or JPEG wanted Marvel to put out like 87 projects a year or whatever. So, I mean, this could be a way to, you know what I mean? It's like, this could be a way to get rid of some of that.
Not even whenever the MCU wasn't owned by Disney, they didn't even put out 87 projects in 1 year.
Yeah.
I don't think ever.
No, and it's like, it's ridiculous. And I think that they did put out too much. And
one thing, speaking of Harry Styles' character, one thing that I do want to see, I hope that they move forward with and do something with, is Kit Harington's character at the end of.
Yeah, I think he'll still be in Blade. I think he'll still be in Blade. I mean, that, from what I understand, Blade is still it's back on track finally, and they're gonna get it out there.
That's good.
And it's gonna be R-rated. So that was the last thing I heard as well. Is Blade's gonna be R-rated now? So
because his character. His character is one that was so cool.
Yeah,
and that ending there from him was awesome.
Yeah, I think they'll follow it up. I think he'll be in there. That's why I didn't put him on my list of people I think Deadpool's going to kill off. And strangely, I'm a bigger fan of this than any of the other two, but I do think Moon Knight is the most likely to be killed, just because he is on Deadpool's level of, you know what I mean? I think that he will be the most likely to be killed.
That is true because like Moon Knight, as we've seen, can't actually die because he just gets healed by the Moon God.
True.
Like even when he got shot, shot in that one scene, and we thought he was going to die, he literally came back because the Moon God literally brought him back. So like he's quite literally on Deadpool's like level of being able to regenerate, whether he gets shot or like tries to get killed. Like he's just on. No, the only difference with Moon Knight is that he could probably get his head chopped off and die. That's probably the only difference. But in terms of being shot or stabbed or whatever, he just can't die because he just gets regenerated by the Moon God.
But what happens?
So yeah,
Wolverine
that
slices him up to a million pieces, though. Too, you know what I mean?
Wait, if Wolverine slices up what Moon Knight?
Yeah, to like a million fucking pieces. Can he regenerate?
I don't think. But if he's sliced into pieces, I don't think he can. Like if he gets a hand, if he gets a hand chopped off, I don't think he can get that hand back.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean though. Like any other thing besides getting chopped up, Moon Knight can regenerate. So he's not on the level of Deadpool, but he's pretty close to his level.
Right. And one of the things
it makes sense.
One of the things I also was hearing, and again, this is just speculation. We're just having fun with it, but at the same time, I had also heard, and I want to know what you think on this, that maybe we're not getting the Kang Dynasty anymore. Maybe it's Avengers, X-Men, or X-Men versus the Avengers. Maybe we get a movie where something gets screwed here, and
I'm not gonna lie to you.
X-Men versus Avengers.
I would way rather have that than the Kang Dynasty.
Me too.
I'm not even kidding right now. Like as much as I loved,
more so in
Loki. Oh
yeah,
more so in Loki than Quantumania.
Yeah.
Even though those were apparently two different Kangs, which makes sense. As much as I did love Kang, I just feel like that's kind of just hearsay at this point. I think an Avengers versus X-Men would actually be, and I feel like Deadpool and Wolverine movie could definitely set that up.
Yeah.
For sure. Even though the MCU are trying to use some members of the X-Men to get rid of some of these people that they want to get rid of, there's something's going to happen in there where they mess up in a way where the MCU kind of just throws the X-Men away and is like, okay, we don't want to work with you anymore, and then an Avengers versus X-Men movie could happen.
And I mean, imagine this: they set it up, Avengers versus X-Men, and then in that movie, Doom becomes the biggest threat, and they realize they just all have to work together in Secret Wars to fight off Doom, right? So that could be
because a good way to
what
go
happens
into
is
like they could
Yeah.
Maybe even like start trying to fight in Avengers versus X-Men, and then like you said, in Secret Wars, they find out that they actually have one threat together, which would be Doctor Doom. That would actually be really cool.
I think it works. I genuinely think it works.
He'd be Doctor Doom would be our new Thanos in a sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm very excited for whatever it is. Let's just start with Deadpool, baby steps. I'm hoping Deadpool needs to be great. That's the main thing. There's a lot riding on the film to be great. One way or the other, it has to save the MCU. So let's hope it does that, and it gets us back. I mean, I was saying in my reaction, it just automatically feels like summer movie season, like pre-pandemic. Just with this coming out alone. But then you tie in Twisters and Beetlejuice, and it just feels so good this summer. I'm excited to have a really good summer movie season this year, and I'm glad that we're just not overloaded with a bunch of stuff that it's like, we got to watch this really, So I'm super stoked about that.
I guess this would be the question: if there is going to be an Avengers versus X-Men movie, would Loki come out to help, or is he just going to stay trying to keep the universe together?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Or would by that point would he be able to find out a way to keep it stable without needing to actually be in the seat? That's the real question.
I don't know if he'll come to help or not, but I do feel like we have not seen the last of Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
Oh no, definitely not.
Yeah, I think that they want to use him again.
No way on God's green earth is that dude anywhere near done.
Yeah, especially with the TVA coming back into it, like I just definitely feel like we're not going to see the last of Tom Hiddleston's Loki. But again, if we did, though, it was a good ending for him. That's for sure. If we did, see
honestly, it was probably the best ending of any Marvel character, in my opinion.
For sure.
Honestly.
But again, just looking forward to the summer movie season for the most part. And I also want to throw out there, speaking of the summer movie season, we do have some exciting news. But before we get to that, we got to start up our final segment of every show. And that segment is Sup with Star Wars. So let's talk about some things that are going on with Star Wars. And like I said, speaking of the summer movie season, we have some very exciting news here from Star Wars. And there's not a lot today, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Just a few things to run over here. But from comingsoon.net, we have this brilliant headline: Star Wars The Phantom Menace returning to theaters for the 25th anniversary.
I'm there.
To celebrate its 25th anniversary, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is returning to theaters once more. Empire Magazine revealed that the first installment of the Star Wars prequel trilogy will be returning to theaters starting on Friday, May 3rd, probably Thursday, May 2nd, let's be real. To celebrate the re-release, a new poster made by Matt Ferguson was shown, which you can view below, and this is the new poster for the 25th anniversary, which I love.
That's sick.
It's amazing.
I want to get that.
I'm getting one. Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, is a young apprentice Jedi Knight under the tutelage of Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson. Anakin Skywalker, played by Jake Lloyd, who will later father Luke Skywalker and become known as Darth Vader. Is just a 9-year-old boy, reads the film synopsis. When the Trade Federation cuts off all routes to the planet of Naboo, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are assigned to settle the matter. I tried to make that sound more exciting than it actually is. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was released in theaters on May 19th, 1999, written and directed by George Lucas. The film starred Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Jake Lloyd, and Ian McDiarmid, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, Pamela August, who's actually pretty underrated as Shmi Skywalker in that film, and Frank Oz. Jose, I think I called this, right? That they were going to put this back in the theater, and I'm very excited that they are. This just makes the most sense, man. Yeah, I know you already said you're going to see it, right? So,
100. As much as I don't like the first two prequel movies, I mean, this is just, I never got to watch it in the theaters, obviously, because I wasn't.
Yeah, you got to go.
I don't think I was actually born when the movie came out, because that movie came out, what, May 1999?
99, yep.
I mean, I was born in 99, but that movie came out May 99.
Right.
And I was born November 99, so I wasn't born when the movie came out, so I didn't get to watch it in theaters. So that's something that I missed out on, so I'm definitely going to be going to watch this in theaters just to see what that experience would have been like.
Oh, but say what you want about the film, to see that lightsaber opening again and the pod racing in the theater and the mall fight at the end. Oh my god!
Exactly. I was gonna say to see the pod fights and the pod racing and the mall Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan fight in theaters is gonna be, and just hearing John Williams score is just gonna be in theaters is just gonna be
I might actually cry,
amazing,
because I haven't seen it in the theater since 1999. You know, so this is special for me, man, and I'm very excited to go back and watch it again and maybe like get that feeling I had when I was a kid. And I might be like, you know what? I might watch it in the theater and be like, I'm buying my own personal projector tomorrow. Because it's probably, I think it is going to change the experience of this film for me. And just remind me of why I, fell in love with Star Wars in the first place. I mean,
it's got to be in the look. Oh gosh, that's got to be in the lookout to see what theater is gonna actually show this movie. I'm gonna assume that the AMC is gonna show this, just because AMC always hops onto anniversaries. I mean, like I just looked it up, and they're doing a 40th anniversary for the original Dune movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, I'll travel if I have to for this, but I can't wait to see.
I know you would.
Yeah,
I know you would.
I did for Return of the Jedi, and that was a special experience. So can't wait for this just as much.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing too. Is they did the anniversary for Return of the Jedi at AMC, so they're most likely going to do Phantom Menace at AMC as well. So I'll definitely be there.
Very, very stoked for this. I thought this was so exciting.
Yeah, same.
I'm going to move on to this next story here, though, which obviously is still Star Wars related, and still pretty exciting. So let's take a look at this. Star Wars: The Acolyte sets summer 2024 release window.
Oh. Yes.
The High Republic series comes from showrunner Leslie Headland. Let's take a look at this here. High Republic fans, the wait just got that much more bearable ever since releasing its first trailer at Star Wars Celebration in London last year, the hype for Star Wars series The Acolyte has only grown. With fans eager for any update on the highly anticipated project, now Collider has learned that the live-action High Republic set series from creator Leslie Headland is set to release on Disney Plus this summer. Set 50 years before the events of The Phantom Menace, The Acolyte will follow a former Padawan and her one-time master as they fall into an investigation of sinister crimes in an ever-changing galaxy. The trailer that premiered at Star Wars Celebration only gave fans a hint of what they could expect when the series premieres, but even so, already impressed those lucky enough to see it with the bold visual take on an era that thus far has not appeared on screen. The series also boasts a massive and massively talented ensemble cast led by Amanda Stenberg. They will be joined by Squid Game star Lee Jung-jae, I apologize, as a Jedi Master, and Eunice Swatamo as a Wookiee Jedi named Kelnaka. Also, in the Acolytes cast are Jodie Turner-Smith, Manny Jacinto, and Charlie Barnett. Though in typical Star Wars fashion, details about their roles are under wraps. The Acolyte has a connection to the High Republic books. I remember learning about this at Celebration. Less under wraps, and perhaps most exciting to fans of the High Republic books, was the news that Rebecca Henderson, initially announced to be playing Marilyn Jedi, would in fact be playing an older version of Vernestra Rowe, which I actually really love that character from the High Republic books. One of the more prominent characters in Phase 1 and 3 of the books, and an all-around fan favorite. The inclusion of Vernestra is an exciting one, not just because the connection to the books, but because of what such an inclusion might spell for fans of both the books and the character in her on-page and on-screen incarnations. Headland told Collider at Celebration that the series would not be kind, quote-unquote, to the Jedi. Ooh, I love that.
Good.
Would call the fallibility of the institution into question. Fallibility, I think. Oh, no, fallibility is what it says. Okay. With all the struggles Vernestra has already been through and those she still has to face, there are probably few characters better suited to tackle the imperfections of the Jedi Order from the inside. The Acolyte will premiere on Disney Plus in summer 2024. Stay tuned to Collider for more information and check out the interview with Leslie Headland now. Anyway, this is a Collider exclusive, so good on them for getting this story. We were definitely looking for a timeline of when this will release, and it does look like summertime, which I think is perfect. Right there with that re-release of Phantom Menace. I wouldn't be surprised if it drops on May 4th, to be honest with you. So I mean,
at least Josh now can't say that this doesn't exist.
I know, right? Anyway, let's look at he'll say that till he sees the trailer. But let's take a look at
he'll probably say it even when the trailer drops.
I want to take a look at May here. So May 2nd, right, is when the
said May 3rd, but yeah.
Oh, May 3rd is when it drops, the Phantom Menace.
It said on the report May 3rd.
Yes, May 3rd.
Like you wouldn't doubt if it was May 2nd.
Okay, so I am going to take that back. Oh, I was going to say May 4th for the Acolyte, but it's a Saturday. I don't think they'll drop it on a Saturday because they like to drop these shows. They'll probably drop it on
yeah.
So I was thinking 25th, also a Saturday. So because that's the anniversary of. But what day did Phantom Menace come out?
May 19th.
It's a Sunday. See, none of those will work. So I'm trying to figure out when this will come out. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be any of the usual Star Wars
special dates.
Yeah, sadly. But however, I'm just so excited that we're getting it in the summertime. We know the timeline. I don't think
bro, this summer's gonna be crazy.
I don't think a trailer is as imminent as, say, something like Beetlejuice 2's trailer is, but I do think it's coming up soon. I do think they want to build hype for this. Let people know what the show is, considering this is outside of a timeline we've ever really been in on live action or on screen, really. Except for the Jedi Adventures, Young Jedi Adventures, but yeah.
I feel like Beetlejuice's trailer is more
right
likely
around the
to
corner.
Be sooner.
Yeah,
because Beetlejuice at least has a release date where we don't have a release date yet for like a specific one.
Yeah.
Even though again, summer would entail that the movie's going to come out anywhere between May to July.
Yeah.
maybe even August.
Yeah.
So
I still think
would,
you should do it in May though, because
I was just saying, with that time frame being summer of 2024, I still feel like an Acolyte trailer would probably come before Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Only because it is set to come out before
Yeah.
Beetlejuice 2. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Beetlejuice trailer drops before the Acolyte one.
Well, I think
honestly.
Bad Batch is going to end in April, if I'm not mistaken, because they have dates on Bad Batch where they're going to drop like 3 episodes at one time, right?
Yeah, I think they have the release date right now for it, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I believe there's 3. Here we go. So there's the first 3 on February 21st, then February 28th, then March 6th, March 13th are 2 of them. March 20th, March 27th, April 3rd is 2 of them. April 10th, April 17th, April 24th, and then the last one on May 1st.
Okay, so maybe later May, maybe. That's my guess. I still think you should do the May thing because again, it's just that month is still special for Star Wars,
No, for sure.
So May would be pretty good. Do you know what date is Celebration, by the way, this year? Look into that real quick.
Oh, in Tokyo.
Yeah.
In Tokyo. God, I still kind of want to go to them. I'm not gonna lie.
It's far. Let's look at that because
that's also not until next year though.
Oh, Celebration's not till next year? I thought it was this year. Why am I?
Remember
I forgot
they were skipping this year. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, the next year's Celebration is April 18th.
Right. Okay. So I get you. All right. So maybe not. Okay.
That's not summer. April's not really summer. That's a different season.
Yeah. No. Fair enough. I was also thinking like it would have been cool to air at Celebration or premiere at Celebration, but then again, like it's not going to be till next year. True. So, anyway, I don't know, man, but I do think that you could maybe do it in May if Bad Batch actually ends in May. We could actually maybe.
Well, it does. I looked at the official release dates for the episodes. May 1st is the last one. That's crazy. May 1st is the last episode, and then May 3rd is when they're dropping Phantom Menace in theaters.
What I don't want them to do is overlap it with Bad Batch, though, like they did with Mandalorian. I thought that got just maybe a little too crowded. But later,
honestly,
May.
At this point, just it doesn't even matter. I guess if they release it on an important Star Wars day, as long as they just release it in May on a weekday, I really don't care. Just whenever you feel like it. I really don't care.
I mean, maybe they could even if Bad Batch ends on May 1st. I mean, I'm just speculating at this point, but like if Bad Batch ends on May 1st, I mean, maybe they could push it to. I'm trying to look at what the last day of May is here really quick. The last day.
Why don't they just release it? I know because Phantom Menace, I'm guessing, will probably be in theaters for a week or so.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, why don't you just release Acolyte on May 4th?
Yeah,
for May 4th,
or
for May 4th.
3rd. But, I got you.
No, May the 4th. May the 4th.
I thought we looked at that. I thought that was that's a Saturday. That's why.
Oh yeah, maybe you could drop it on Friday.
Yeah,
on May 3rd, the same day as Phantom Menace.
Maybe the same day as Phantom Menace. That would be neat. But I also feel. If you do the last day of the month, that is also a Friday, so you could do May 31st. Like I said, that would kind of line up because Bad Batch would end on the first day of May, and if you had Acolyte air on the last day of May, that'd be on a Friday as well. So May 3rd wouldn't be bad. I'm not gonna lie. I think with the Phantom Menace, that'd be neat. You wake up in the morning, you'd watch Acolyte, and then you go see the Phantom Menace at night. That'd be a really neat experience. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, either way, I'm just excited we got a timeline and we kind of know a little bit about when this is coming.
Well, we got a timeline-ish.
Yeah, for sure. So just a couple other things we got to mention is Bad Batch does drop next week on Wednesday. I'm very excited about that, Jose. I mean, I'm sure you are as well for the premiere of the Bad Batch. Hopefully it turns out to live up to all of our expectations for it, and it is.
I'm just honestly hoping. I'm hoping it's a perfect send off since this is gonna be the finale.
Me too.
Because if not, then I'm gonna be really upset. Star Wars is gonna probably piss me off if it doesn't end, the way it should. But I have really high hopes that it does, have a perfect send off for the Bad Batch.
You had the schedule up a bit ago. How many episodes are we getting on premiere day?
15. Oh, 3 on premiere day.
3 on premiere day. Okay, so they are airing the first 3.
Yeah.
So that'll be neat.
Yeah.
We get like an hour and a half of Star Wars next Wednesday, so that's going to be exciting. I'm sure we'll talk about that on our segment here and how we liked them, and we'll probably save it for the end of the show, the very, very end, so we can give out spoiler reviews. So that way, if you guys want to book it, you can. So make sure you tune into Movie Mornings every week to hear our thoughts on the show and how it's going. I'm very excited that Star Wars is going to be back. We get new Star Wars. That's always exciting. I don't care what it is. I'm typically just excited that we get it. Let's just again hope it's great. And also the other thing that I wanted to mention is not next week, but a couple weeks from now, the Dark Forces remaster game is coming. So I'm very excited about that. I hope you guys go download that. I love the original Dark Forces. It's dated now. So to get a remaster of this game is very exciting. So we get that here in like 2 weeks on February 28th. So super looking forward to that. I mean, Jose, are you going to download the Dark Forces remaster and have some fun with that?
Yeah, of course, man. Always. I just love when they remaster older games, because it not only brings nostalgia, but also brings a newness to it. You know, you get better graphics, you get a better experience. It's like you can have the nostalgia with also amazing graphics. So it's like it's two for the price of one.
Yeah, it's like we were saying about the X-Men thing in a way, you know. Yeah,
exactly. You get the X-Men 96, but with better graphics and animation and stuff like that. So yeah, no, for sure, I'll be downloading that as soon as it drops.
Yeah, for sure. I think that this is going to be one of those games I'm going to spend like an entire weekend playing, you know, and going down the nostalgia trail.
100%.
Because again, like that first Dark Forces to me is such a special game, and great that they're remastering it. I'm excited to play a PS5 version of it. That'll be exciting for me, being a console.
I'll be playing a PC version of it.
Yeah. Either way, though, it's still going to be cool. I mean, it's going to look very refined.
100%.
I think the trailers for it have looked pretty good. I'm super stoked. I can't wait to play it again and just go on that journey of trying to defeat the Empire. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So very, very exciting stuff. I hope you guys have fun with today's show, but this is where we're going to end it. So thank you guys so much for joining. Once again, I am Don Martino. Let us know what you think of all the exciting Star Wars news and all the news that we've talked about on today's show. And Jose, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Jose Espinel 5, all lowercase, all together.
All right, you guys can find me not watching Madam Web on Twitter at Dom_Martino_ and on Instagram Dom_Martino_ official. Thank you again for joining. Please follow the Extract Media pages at Extract Media Blog across Twitter and Instagram, actually now X. And then also please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit the bell for notifications. Always much appreciated. Without further ado, I'm Don Martino. That's Mr. Jose Espinel. And we will talk to you guys later.
See ya.